Welcome to Matrimonial Merger, the podcast where Ambry and Jesse, a husband and wife couple, share their insights and experiences on relationships, health, and wealth. With their expertise in business and as neuro-linguistic master practitioners, they provide valuable advice on overcoming challenges and achieving success. Join us for practical tips on navigating the intersection of personal and professional life.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Matrimonial Merger. Today, we are talking about one of the topics that causes the most conflict in marriage.
Money!
Money!
Hey,
Give me the money.
money.
We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about finances tonight and give you guys some insight and some tips on how to get rid of that guessing, right? Because the guessing causes stressing and nobody wants that in their life. So
That was so good.
thanks, Jesse.
That was so good.
So
Like a Dr. Seuss over there.
you're a poet and you didn't even know it. How many times did you hear that growing up?
Oh, man. The old rubber and glue bouncing and sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Love
are
it.
some good ones.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's dive in. Let's talk about finances, how you can set yourself up for success so that, you know, your money's actually like working with you and for you and providing you security and rather than stress and,
Yeah.
you know, like,
How could you have control over your money,
Yeah.
right? Like,
exactly.
I love that.
And awareness. And, you know, I mean, this is something that I think is really important for anyone, regardless of your relationship status, but in marriage specifically, being able to be specific and have awareness and understanding and, you know, a plan in place is crucially important in this aspect of life, whether you're self-employed or not, or, you know, what that looks like for you. I think we can all agree this is a hot topic.
Hot topic. I'm so
What?
excited. You know the Hot Pocket?
No. Oh,
Hot
yeah.
Pocket,
I was
Hot
like,
Topic.
I don't know what you're saying.
Oh.
I was thinking of the store.
No, but oh yeah, that's a creepy. That'd be like Hot Pocket. Oh. Anyways, here's what I am thinking.
Okay.
Okay, it's very hard to have an abundant mindset if you don't even know what you want, right?
True.
Like it's very hard to have I've got enough money for everything I want if you don't even know what that is.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And
Or it's easy to just like maybe live abundantly, but spend like all your money and not actually feel the satisfaction of working towards a goal or
Right.
like a purpose, right?
Right. Like you have money to spend, but you don't have a purpose. Like
Right.
Ambry and I are talking about like being able to literally control money.
Yeah.
Like think about that for just a moment. Like the same control as someone over in the treasury where they just go, they hit print, boom, sheets of money. Like you are printing money, that kind
Yeah.
of control over your finances. We're not talking like, oh yeah, I got this, but like we're talking, I freaking know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And what we are trying to get through to this, to you as a listener on this episode is the importance of understanding what it is you truly want. This all started, this topic, when the Porsche GT3 RS, my dream car, I got a text message and the dude sends it. He's like, I got it. And I'm like, what do you mean you got it? Who is this? Like I was not in this right mindset. Sends me this photo.
It's like your car, the one that you
and I'm just like,
the one that you designed.
Oh, yeah, the one you designed,
down to the
Jesse.
stitch, down to everything.
Everything. He's like, I got it. I'm just like, oh no. Like I'm over there like excited. One part of me is like, dude, yes, go. Like your car's here. This is your dream. The other part of me is going, Jesse, you don't have any money. You can't afford this car. It's a $250,000 car. Where on this green earth are you going to find $250,000 in the next 3 weeks to buy this car? If you're listening to this show, it's because you're a successful business owner or you're striving to become more successful. But guess what? Anytime you've experienced new success, it has brought new challenges. It's time for a change. Check out the Business Liberation System. It's the key to regaining focus and working on your business, not just in it. You see, as you experience more and more success, that success is bringing new things into your business that's taking away from your concentration, and it's costing you money. You're slowly going from CEO back to an employee, and don't let that catch you. It's time for you to recognize these things and get back on the track of becoming the CEO of your business so that you can work on it. Go to theemergecoaching.com and get on the fast track by joining the Business Liberation System. To get there even faster, click on the show notes and it will take you right to where you need to be. Success should bring freedom, not frustration. Let's get back to the episode. That's a cold, hard reality.
Yeah.
And as I sat there, I wanted to cry for just a moment, but not because I was sad I couldn't buy my car. I wanted to cry of this amazing, tender mercy that I deem of learning about finances right there in that moment. You see, had I a year and a half ago, when I gave those details to this dude, said, I'm going to put aside this type of money and I'm going to have a plan.
Right.
So that when it happens, it'll be the perfect time that this happens.
Yeah.
I have the money to say yes.
Well, we
I
talked
didn't do
last
that.
week about working backwards, right? When you know something that you want, like you have to be specific and work in the reverse, work backwards to get there, right? Because you can dream and design and create and manifest, right? All that you want. But if you don't actually put in the process to get there, that car comes or that opportunity comes, well, great. You can want it all you want, all you can.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you can do it.
Right. I didn't get specific and say, I want to win one.
I want one for $1.
I want one for $1. I didn't get that specific.
Dang.
Right.
Should have done that.
But I designed the car, but I didn't design the plan to get the car.
Right.
So I did half the effort.
It's in the back of your mind, but it wasn't on paper in our financial plan.
Right.
Of like, okay, so when this happens, this is how it's going to be possible.
Well, and what is that plan now? Like looking at it, it's like, okay, when I get this call next time, am I flying to Arizona and driving it home, listening to all of my favorite songs in my books, crying, and then also screaming at the top of my lungs, like, you freaking did it. What is it specifically? And if that's the case, what type of money am I going to fly first class? Am I going to fly private to go pick up my car? Like, what am I going to do?
You're going to have it shipped to you so you don't have to put all those miles on it out the
Exactly.
gate.
What am I going to do when I receive this? And what is the plan so that the next time they say, hey, man, I got your car, I don't even second guess.
You're like, great, I'm ready. This has been in my my plan.
And that's where we're talking control of your money. And this was all started. I was like, I don't know. It was like I was happy to learn such a valuable lesson, but also kind of sad because I was like, Ambry, I think we could make this work. And I'm like trying to create this plan in my head. But reality is, and if you don't know yet already, like we're pregnant, we're expecting our third. This is a 2-seater car, and I drive our daughter to school every single day. Not every single day. I drive her 3 times a week. And that she's not big enough to sit in the front seat. So this car does not physically make any sense.
It can't replace.
It can't replace
anything.
And so after looking at all of it, once again, I was bummed a little bit because here it was a year and a half of waiting for this dream car. And on the other side, I'm over here this is the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me. I'm so proud that I can't buy my car.
What? I mean, that's great.
But I'm
that's
so
weird.
happy because now I get it. I get it. And so anyways, we sat down and we started designing a plan. And what was so cool about this is looking at it saying, all right, the budget's not 100% in place yet, but the budget's being in place. And sitting and talking to you saying, what are the things we truly want? Well, heck, you want to buy stuff for the house, right? You want pillows and sheets and beds. And I know you want this, right? You want the curtains. You want to replace the ugly orange curtains in our living room that have been
They're
with the
not
house.
even ugly. They're beautiful designer curtains. I just don't like orange.
Right.
It's not my color.
It's Halloween at our house every day. Anyways.
That makes them sound horrible. They really are beautiful.
They are.
I just hate them.
Yes. We look like the Boise State Broncos at our house. We've got the blue and orange going on. But honestly, we started labeling out all the things we want. You and I want to have someone shovel our snow. That's what we want. I don't know if I hate the cold. And you hate the cold, especially right now. I know it. I don't even know why our space heater's not running right now, but I hate the cold. And so for me to go out and shovel snow, absolutely not. But I don't have that in my budget. So then realistically, oh, you're reaching over to turn it on. How amazing. Anyways, I don't have that in my budget, but I'm over here saying how I hate all this stuff. Well, how can I live abundantly if I don't like get the things I want or feel like I'm getting the things I want? But more specifically, I don't have that money set away.
Yeah.
And so I'm over here telling myself one thing, feeling all frustrated and emotional because I'm out shoveling the snow, freezing cold, going, I wish something was different, but I don't have a plan in place to actually make anything different. So at that point, I'm literally just cue the beep word, beep, and complaining because
wow. You're like filtering yourself over.
Yeah. I'm over there just complaining,
Yeah.
grinching and moaning. Hey, for the holidays.
Oh
I'm grinching and moaning over there outside trying to shovel. And the truth is like, I could fix it had I just put something in place.
Yeah.
So then labeling it all out, what do we want? Well, we want to have a couple $1,000s for Christmas because we like going all out on the holidays. We want our kids to have an amazing Christmas. So with that being said, we can't just wait 2 weeks before Christmas to go spend $2,000 or $3,000.
Right.
That's stupid. So we have to start planning ahead, saving.
Oh man, this topic brings up a lot, like for me, and I probably should have like written down more, like, so that I can be very specific in what I want to say. But that's all right. I can still be specific. But it's interesting because there's a lot here. There's like, let's just talk about the word budget, right? That word in and of itself could bring positive or negative feelings to you, right?
Yes.
When I hear the word budget, I cringe.
Ugh.
Like I have to like rethink how I want to feel about that word. Because initially when I, would hear the word budget, it would be like fear, scarcity, like no, there's no money, like we have to have a budget in order to live, like
restrictions.
Yes, restriction and just like
opposite of abundance.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And so I, in my mind, I'm like, well, we can't have a budget if we're going to live abundantly. Like, and I had that belief in my mind. And I remember going to like a budget night with some friends, and I was like, I want to learn what other people are doing, right? And it's so different for everyone, right? Some of us have a more fixed income and some of us don't, and it's just, Yeah. But what it comes down to is like the intention and the like being specific and having an intention, right? Because as I sat there, I was like, okay, like what do I want to feel and what do I want to learn so that I can implement things into our life that, serve our purpose and what we want, right? And how can I have a better belief and a better feeling around the word budget, or, maybe you can replace that word with something else, right? It doesn't really matter, but intention. I just want intention, right?
Right.
And so I think about it and I'm like, okay, like I'll paint 2 pictures for you. The first one is like, let's just say Costco, right? I go to Costco a lot. And Costco, I think like everyone, what do people call it? Like I don't know, $100 store. Like you literally, not literally, but it's very hard to leave Costco without spending $100.
Right.
Maybe 2, maybe 3, right? But like, it's just, that's Costco and you're getting value. It's great. But like every time I go there, I spend a couple $100. And the first picture I want to paint is like a picture where you go to Costco and okay, like I don't want to buy this, don't want to buy that. What's the least amount of money I can spend, right? Like only get exactly what we need. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But
sure.
But in my experience, those experiences that I've had are based on like scarcity and fear. And it's because it's the scarcity and fear of like, I have no idea like how much money we have for this right now. Or like, we don't have a specific goal every month for how much money we spend at Costco or,
right.
Whatever. So it's just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Or there's the experience where like, oh, like I think we have we just closed a deal. Like, we've got money right now. I'll just like buy this and buy that, add a couple extra things in the cart. Like, but I still don't feel good about it because I'm like, I literally don't know. Like, I don't have an intention behind what I am doing right now.
Right.
So like neither one of those situations do I label as like a positive, abundant experience.
Right.
Because it's like, I literally don't know. There's no intention. There's no specific reason behind anything.
Yeah.
And so like I sit and I evaluate those and I'm like, okay, so I need a budget. I want a budget because I want to know like this is how much I want to spend at Costco for the things that we need, the things that we want, all of the above. And then over here, I want to put aside this much money every month towards, you know, this property we want to purchase in the future. Like, right, this multiplex that we want to invest in or this or that. And it's creating these specific goals so that like when I go and I spend the $300 at Costco or whatever it is in the budget, I'm like, there's intention by every single dollar in that money I'm spending.
Yes.
There's a reason behind me spending $300 and it's exciting. It's not a limit.
Right.
It's like this has purpose and intention because I am creating and getting what I want, right? Like that fulfills everything I would need and maybe more. But now I actually feel excited about it.
Yeah.
And I feel the intention behind it. And now we can on paper see the other things that we are working towards and trying to become through the energy of money.
Right. And then at that point, it then just becomes analyze each budget and say, how do we shrink the margins a little bit more? Just like running a business, right? Like if you're doing something with production and you have a bunch of plastic bottles, you could go and say, how do I reduce the cost of my plastic bottles? I can go and reassess this particular budget as opposed to reassessing everything because you're getting all the stuff you want. Right. It just comes back down to, like you said, the intention behind it. But like, I want you to just imagine for a moment where it's like, oh, hey, it's someone's birthday. Do I buy them a gift? Do I not buy them a gift? Because
I don't know. Do I have money for that?
I really don't want to go buy this person a gift because like we're on this tight budget and we don't really have anything saved. And even though they're like really my best friend, and then all of a sudden you just talk yourself out of it. And then a month or two goes by, it's your birthday, and that same friend shows up with a gift for you. And you're like, oh, I feel so guilty. Like, oh, I should do this. Or the wonderful Christmas where we're coming up on that, where someone takes you a gift and you're like, oh crap, I should probably take them a gift because they took me a gift, right? Because that's what most people say and teach here in our little environment of Utah. Like, oh, you should probably take a gift back too if they're bringing you a gift. And I remember one year we did that, right? We went and bought a bunch of sparkling cider, dropped a bunch of money, and took it to all these people's houses that brought us a gift because we felt guilty.
Yeah.
And in fact, we have a vlog of that where like we're like, yeah, it's Christmas, we're handing out stuff, and you're just like, I hate this, but Jesse's making me vlog it. Anyways, that's the type of stuff that we're talking about. It's getting so intentional, but like, all right, how can you not, like if you have a budget for Thanksgiving and it is $500 every year, right? So for $500, you can do some pretty amazing stuff for Thanksgiving. You can, cater a meal. You could, save that money to invest in like turkey, like more turkey, whatever it is you want. Maybe buy some Thanksgiving decorations or the extra expensive plates as opposed to just the cheap ones. What if you could actually design and have the budget you wanted for that holiday? You and I have always looked at each other and said, oh, if we had a little bit more, we would have done this, this, and this, right?
Yeah.
Like
we'll do. And we don't even know, do we have it? Do we not? Like, cause we just don't, we haven't taken the time to put specific numbers on paper for specific things for a long time.
Or the accounts, right? And making sure that we are accountable to the accounts.
The percentage rule.
Right. And so what we've done this year as we've gone through, we've said, okay, here's our numbers, right? Here's all the things that we do in our business. We followed a profit first model from the book Profit First for our business, where at certain tiers we pay ourselves money and do certain things, right? Well, now we're getting specific with the money that we do pay ourselves and saying, here are all the accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But then what that does is it comes back and says, okay, in order to do all these things that we want, not this is what we have, This is what we want. Then it takes us back to our budget and our business. And it says, okay, Jesse and Ambry, if you want this based off of your marketing and your taxes and your operations expenses and you're paying yourself, you need to make X amount of dollars. Right. At which point is now like, okay, cool. Yeah, this is all we want.
You can
We're
measure
so
it backwards,
motivated.
right?
Yes, backwards and
Going
forwards.
back to the GT3, like all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, when that happens, this is how much money we need to have additional for that thing, right? Or that purpose. Okay, so then what kind of growth or what kind of things do we need to expect or create between now and then?
Yeah, and the
for it to happen?
I told our team on our Monday morning meeting, I said, listen, in order for us to keep our jobs and everything here, this is what we need to make in 2024. In order for us to be happy and like live an abundant life and you guys to get paid more and stuff, this is the bare minimum that we need to make. This is the standard. And now
we need to like be promoting growth and creating the processes and the space for growth so that we can all grow.
Right. This number here is no longer a, yes, we need to hit, like like it'd be nice to hit this number so we can live this way. And it is now a, we have to hit this number, or we get to hit this number so that we can all experience the life we want. If we do not hit these numbers, you and me and everyone else is not happy and things need to change.
Right. And then also being able to, explain to them that, look, like this percentage of our like profit every month or quarter or whatever goes to the like payroll expense. So if you guys want to raise, like help us increase that percent or the profit so that we can increase their percentage in the budget so that we can, we can give bonuses. We can
giving them the opportunity.
Exactly. Like, we can either hire additional like to alleviate and take some things off your plate and make your job easier, or you can make more money.
I just want you to think for a moment, like if your boss, you and I both worked at a copier company, like, and this kind of gets me excited, but if your boss came up and said, Ambry, how much do you want to make? And you said, what?
I don't know, like at the time or now?
6 figures. I want to make 6 figures. And they said, fantastic. Here's your contribution. This is what you need to bring in revenue wise. If you do that, you will make 6 figures. Well, shoot, like you'd be so much more motivated, would you not? Because you'd be like, oh, if I do this and this and this every single day.
Well, I would be looking at my job in the sense of like, how do the things that I do every day, although I wasn't like in any kind of sales position specifically, how can I adjust and create processes within my role that produce revenue? Yeah. Or that promote increased leads, like whatever it is, right? Like what can I do to, and it's interesting because it's hard to say back then if I could have seen it that way, right? Because I think there's a lot to be said about once you've owned a business and you've kind of like seen things from that perspective, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, like here's what I would do to, you have that perspective. So it's easy for me to say now, like, oh yeah, just look at things from a revenue perspective. I didn't look at things from a revenue perspective back then. Right. Because I went to my job 8 to 5, got paid hourly. Like that was just my
you were also
my life.
You were also given a bonus of like 55 cents or $1, like, and you're like, wow, $1. When realistically, had they said, oh, hey, Ambry, instead of $40,000, you're now making $50,000 a year, then you're going, oh, okay, yeah, like it's just a different mindset where we're labeling it down to the macro, like you're getting a full $1 raise, congratulations. And you're like, $1 barely pays my taxes because the tax bracket went up last year, so I'm just barely beating inflation.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Right. And so like I look at it and speaking to our employees, it's like, you guys name how much you want to make. Yeah. And I will tell you specifically, because there's a process in place, I will tell you how much our company needs to make in order for me to pay you that.
Well, and then it's like, cool. All of a sudden there's $20,000 in that, that payroll budget that is just there. Yeah. Okay, well, guess we got to give it to somebody. Right?
Yeah. There's $20,000 here, or hey, guess what? If we can find ways to once again reduce our cost and reduce our operating expenses, because operating and our employee salaries
be more
are
efficient,
in the exact same thing.
more
So if you
productive.
find a program that can make our job easier, that can reduce the cost, well, great news, pal. I can pay you more money.
Right. Automate something you do so you have time to do something else. Like whatever. I mean, there's so many angles that you could look at it, but yeah.
And the same goes for your personal stuff, right? Like we now have everything set up where it's like next year, Christmas time, there's going to be $3,000 in the Christmas budget. Cool. Let's go have fun. Let's go shop. Let's not worry about, oh, should we spend $100 per each kid because we haven't planned anything? No. It's like, hey, there's $3,000 in the budget. Okay, fantastic. There's $500 for Thanksgiving. Exciting. What can we buy? We could all do filet mignons instead of a turkey or the nasty ham.
Or we could go out.
Or we
dinner.
could go out for dinner or have someone
nice
cater dinner.
steakhouse.
Or maybe there's a chef that would be willing for $500 to come cook for us. There's so many different options. Okay, great. Like, or what if we did want that and the chef was $3,000? Well, we could start saving $200 a month, right? And then we could pay a chef on Thanksgiving. All right, Halloween. We want to go out. We want to be the neighbors that have the big candy bars, right? Or we want to throw a massive Halloween palooza in front of our yard. Okay, great. Here's a budget for that. But getting very specific and working towards it each week based off of, or each month based off what you want and knowing what you want.
Right.
And then you never have to worry. Like, oh, lawn boy can go and do our lawn.
Right.
Oh, great. Pool boy, if we have a pool, can go do our pool. Oh, shoveling our walks on there. I have to shovel again.
Vacations booked easily because you have, the intention there and you've created
a vacation fund. But it's designing it. And then what we've done is, all right, we found that in order for us to have the lifestyle that we want, we would need to make around $15,000 a month, right? Hypothetically. Okay, well then we're nowhere near that. And what would we need to do? Well, we would need to start acting as if we were making it. So we're going to now break it down in percentages, and each dollar we make goes into this sub account for that specific purpose. So although we don't make $15,000 this month, maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? But this is all hypothetical. This is not specifically us, but you're following a system and a process so that when you do make that $15,000 a month, it becomes easier for you to have all the money you need. However, wouldn't it be nice that, okay, that money that you're putting aside for the lawn, maybe every other month your lawn gets mowed by someone, right? And you're getting a glimpse of that reality because it's fitting in your budget. And so that's motivating and inspiring you. Every time that lawn's mowed, you're like, I got to figure out how to make more money because this is great. I don't have to go outside and shovel the walks. This is amazing. Or someone's coming to clean my house while I'm on vacation. Oh my gosh, this is great. Like I got to go on a vacation for the first time in how many years? Like there's so many different things that as you just get specific and set the budget and follow that system. Once again, like I shared on the other podcast, you know the plan. You know you'll get there if you just continue to walk the marathon. You know there will be an end to that marathon. It's just actually walking and saying each step is getting me closer. And having some micro wins along the way because you're following a process and a budget in your business, in your personal life, whatever the case, you're going to be happy. I mean, imagine at the end of the year, you look at your account and you have $20,000 in your account for savings. That's $20,000 you've never had before.
Right.
Now, we have to admit and acknowledge that that's around a savings of $1,500 or, $1,800 a month. And maybe people don't save that, but just imagine for a moment that that is you and you can save that and you have $20,000 at the end of the year. Also imagine if you had a budget for taxes for your business. So you didn't take that $20,000 you saved all year and go pay your taxes,
right?
But you had $20,000 and your taxes and you got a tax return where most of that money was saved. Right. So then you get money back and that $20,000 is now $35,000 in your account.
Right.
Beautiful.
Love it.
And then you could go buy your Porsche GT3 RS because you need a $35,000
specific
down
intention, right? Because I mean, how many times like do we just buy something or do something and it's like, I have no idea if we have the money for this because I don't really know. We haven't like put specific percentages or numbers in place, but like I know we have money, so I'm going to buy it, right? But that feels awful to buy something that way, right? Where you're like, I don't know. And so I just personally love the concept of like having the intention, having the purpose behind every dollar you're spending, and still being able to live abundantly and being able to get what you want.
Yeah.
And then, when you're looking at it going like, okay, well, if I want to buy this, like, then which month am I going to, all I'm trying to say is like, all of a sudden it's excitement when you spend money. It's purpose. You have a good feeling when you're spending every dollar you spend because there's purpose and intention behind it. And you can't tell me that you're not going to receive further abundance with that emotion and feeling around the energy of money, because money is an energy. And anytime we do something with positive energy, positive ensues, right?
Yep.
Positive flows positive, negative flows negative. So if every dollar you spend you're worried about, then you're probably going to experience more scarcity and more fear in your life. But if every dollar you spend has specific intention and purpose behind it, then you're probably going to continue to receive abundance and more intention and more purpose in your life.
Yeah. And you're working ahead. It's so much easier to play a game ahead of the game as opposed to playing catch up. Right. It's so much easier to go, oh, hey, we're going to hit our goal this year in September based off our projections, as opposed to, oh man, it's the last day of December and we've got to sell $100,000 in product to hit our goal.
Right.
So much easier working ahead than it is behind. And your mind and your headspace is so much clearer because you're ahead of the game. But just imagine for a moment, you have everything budgeted out. It's this perfect scenario. And you take a look at your account at the end of the year and you go, holy cow, we have 2 years worth of living expenses saved in these accounts because we've just been following this process and we've been looking in, we haven't spent this much money on food. And yet we have 2 years worth of money in food. We could take that out or we could adjust our budget. But because you're playing so far ahead, it's like we could literally have this money, no problem. Right. And then what if you created a plan where it's like, okay, all this money we save every year, we're going to now invest into this. And this is our exit strategy. So by the time you're 40 or 45 or whatever age you want to be, you've got an exit strategy where your money's offset for your current income is now cash flowing because you've just saved your money.
Right.
This is how you beat the system. This is how you gamify it. Is you set a goal and you stay specific to that goal. And it's so detailed and laid out that once again, you will finish the marathon if you just keep walking.
Right.
That's it.
Love it. I love that. And I think before we wrap up, I just want to go back to how important the emotion is. We talked about fear last week, right? And those emotions are so crucial. Recently we talked about, Jesse and I shared with you, there's a experiment that a Japanese scientist, Dr. Emoto, did with rice. And you've all probably heard of this, right? Where he took 3 cups of cooked rice. One of them, I don't remember exactly how long his experiment was, but one of them during the span of the experiment.
Did it with water too.
It's been done with water.
It's been done with water. Same guy.
Yeah. I'll have to go watch that one. But one jar was love, words of love and affirmation and positivity, all the good things. And another jar was nothing, just neglected, just, no words, nothing. This jar just got left alone. And the third jar was hate and, words, hateful words and just mean and horrible, right? And at the end of this experiment, they, analyzed the decay process of each cup, right? And the cup that was given energy of love and light was still pretty normal looking, pretty good looking. The one that was neglected had experienced quite a bit of decay and, didn't look like you wouldn't even want to smell that jar. And the third one that experienced the hate was moldy and, and had experienced decay as well. And it's interesting because if you truly believe that money is an energy, then it's important the emotion that you have behind every dollar that you use, that you spend, that you make, right? That energy is so important because you're either encouraging or discouraging additional growth and additional opportunity, right? Yes. With every penny you spent.
Okay.
I remember like sitting in at one of the coaching retreats we've gone to, and the mentor saying like, how many times in your life have you paid a bill, like your water bill, your power bill? And we're kind of programmed, or just by nature, we're like, oh, there goes $150, like, right, towards your electricity. When you think about that, it's like, what did that electricity do for you all month? That electricity gave you potentially work, gave you the ability to send and receive messages, emails. It gave you the ability to cook, to clean, to have light, to charge your phone, you probably couldn't live without it.
Right.
The life that you live. Yet when you pay that $150 bill, you have this emotion of negativity. What kind of message does that send to your reality, right?
Right.
What kind of feedback are you asking for by paying that bill with frustration and negativity? It's like, well, that literally allowed you to create the life you want over the last 30 days. So what if instead that money was exchanged with like excitement and like, look at everything I was able to do because of that $150.
Yeah.
How much money did you make because of it? What kind of experiences did you have? What kind of comforts did you enjoy? Right. And so the like intention is so important. And it's a great reminder for me. This is something that any of us, it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget, like, and fall back into old habits of, just generational programming or filters, right? Of, negativity around certain things. And so,
Correct.
but by being intentional and specific with what you want, it really helps to foster more like positive emotion behind money in general.
Agreed. I love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. There's my tangent for you.
I love it.
But
There's so much good stuff here, and it gets me excited for the 2024 year as we're, drawing closer to an end. And I hope that you take these words very seriously and sit down and actually just take the 20 minutes. That's all it took. 20 minutes of just designing and saying, what is it that I want? Like, what are the special holidays? What are the ways I want to spend the money that we make? And get specific with it, because you're right. Money is an energy. And if you're loving your money, you will print more.
Right.
It's
either working for you or against you.
Yes. And
likely.
And that's where it comes back down to, is just designing it the way you want it, and you will experience a different life. That is something we can promise. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We look forward with being with you, and so excited. Christmas is just around the corner. I hope you're all
crazy.
I hope you're all
weeks,
prepared,
which is wild,
and done. I can't wait to tell you.
I hope we are too.
We will be. I can't wait to tell you about our Grinchmas when that all happens. It's going to be exciting. But with that being said, thanks so much for listening to the show, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Matrimonial Merger podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it informative and entertaining. If you did, we would love it if you could share this podcast with your friends and family who might also be interested in topics related to marriage and relationships. And if you have a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us improve the show and reach more listeners like you. Thanks again for listening to the Matrimonial Merger. We'll be back soon with another episode.